Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier and welcome to an update of my second most popular video. The 2018 update for Star Citizen's jobs, the miner. As usual in this series, it took a large chunk of time to crush this subject down into a no bullshit format. I'd greatly appreciate you linking this to your friends or future citizens who might benefit from it. Let's begin. This career is going to be the main driving force behind the universe's economy. Mining was said to require skill. Mining in 3.2 on the whole has been very well received by the many I've spoken to. The first tier game mechanics are fun and require skill. There are no aspects of the planned mining gameplay that allow a player to simply press a button and move on. The document Mining in Star Citizen from 2015 laid out the set of specific jobs that would offer a team of friends interesting and profitable gameplay. To perform mining, you're going to need the right equipment, ships, and a team of skilled friends performing codependent jobs. In the future, you'll likely start at the TDD or Trade Development Division. This is where you're going to find out what's in demand so you can estimate your profit margin when deciding a course of action. You can choose to run freelance or run as an agent on behalf of another corporation. Being freelance, your profit margin could be higher because you're your own boss. You won't have any top cover, which is a risk. You'll need to do your own planning and prospecting before staking a claim. This is where the land claims will come in. To stake a claim, you're going to need to have a basic idea where you want to work and physically mark the area with a land spike. The spike is said to offer some protection to anyone you designate in the form of NPC security intervention, and limited persistent protection when you're logged off. Land claims aren't a shield, they're meant to be a deterrent. The job of the pioneer is your prospector. This is a person, not a mining ship. This specialist is part of the exploration trade. They use long-range scanners and telemetry probes to scan huge areas of space, something like an Endeavour or a Terrapin. The Pioneer can sell this information to a broker, can sell it privately, or can keep it for their own org. I'm sure there's going to be some cases where your land is very valuable. You may not have the resources to keep it all together, so with that, the idea of working for another company may be more your speed. You wouldn't need to plan the mission, you might just work for the commission. This might be more appealing for the more casual gamer. This will drop your profit margin, but you won't have to worry about survey, legal, security, or transportation. When you take a contract, you'll agree to the task and a quota to achieve. The document suggests that you may be offered an advance, which is your operating budget, but you're going to owe this advance against the ledger to produce the ore. If you fail to deliver or break the contract, you'll probably have trouble getting a job in the future or wind up with a bounty on your head. I think this simplified mission would be very appealing to those who just want to go drill some rocks in peace. If you decide to do this on your own, it'll probably be a good idea to plan ahead and build up a team of friends. The members of Enemy Contact have an org structure that's fully fleshed out. This allows us to build up a team quickly. This wing structure is built up as a team of specialists. Goldwing performs mining and cargo, being supported by the fighters from Red Wing and members of Blue Wing who would scan as early warning. As I found out, you can mine anywhere that's not claimed, but that won't result in best profit for your time. Paying for the services of a pioneer may greatly pay off and save you from having to scan it yourself. You should also consider your cargo plan. Normally in industry, very large operations have zero downtime. Assembly lines run 24/7 on rotating crews. Every minute that operation is down is non-productive and eats into your profit. You could just decide to mine until the bays are full and then transport the goods yourself, but that's downtime. You should probably arrange to offload the material by selling it on-site to a transport company. This is the exciting nature of mining. It's all about flipping a profit, and there's so many factors that you need to consider. The known universe will be a PvP sandbox with safer and more dangerous areas. As an entry-level miner, you could begin your career by heading towards those well-known sites. Your margin might be small, but there's no risk and you can practice your skills. Let's talk about the known jobs. According to the document, there's a total of 4 planned jobs directly related to mining operations. The pilot. This sounds very obvious. The pilot's the one who navigates the dense asteroid fields and aims the drill. It's up to the pilot to maintain synchronous attitude with the target if landing is not an option. The scan operator is also the pilot in the MISC prospector. However, on the Orion, this job is intended to be a separate crew member. The scan operator on the Orion is said to have access to additional probes known as Remote Material Analysis Packages, or RMAPs. More exciting, we have the beginnings of scanning with 3.2. If you fly close to the surface, items of interest are going to auto-populate in your HUD. After this, we have the beam operator, who is also a separate crew member in the Orion. The beam operator is responsible for running the huge fracture laser. It's their job to maintain perfect throttle. The fracture beam will split the large chunks into manageable pieces. As we've seen from the recent release of mining, it's not as simple as using a sword on a melon. The beam operator is going to have to modulate the output. Too little and you cut nothing, too much and the rock explodes like a grenade. This is risky and it blows up all your commodity. The operator is going to rely on 4 readouts to decide how to best manage the beam: the fracture throttle, the energy indicator, the fracture indicator, and the overcharge indicator. Right now linked up on the screen for your information is my down and back mining mission. Real time, and it'll give you a first-hand perspective of the current mining mechanics. I think it's pretty safe to assume that the Orion mechanics are going to simply be an upscaling of what we can see on the Prospector. I think it's also safe to assume that the extractor operator that's referenced in the document from 2015 is likely just going to be the beam operator. Mining currently has 2 different ships at 2 different scales. There's one massive difference between the Prospector and the Orion, and that's the refinery. The Prospector is supposed to perform some basic sifting and separation on site. According to the concept in the Q&A documentation, it's supposed to discard some of the loose raw material to improve your cargo. The Orion takes this a step further with its refinery. It can refine the various materials into fully sellable commodities. In the future, I would love to see this process expel waste material into space as a plume of dust particles. The refinery operator and those mechanics are not defined, but it seems obvious that part of the player's role would be to crush and separate the unwanted materials from the valuable ore. If you get a better player, you'll have a better final product. And finally, the original document listed a cargo operator. This person would have been part of the extraction process. It's safe to assume that that position's been removed from the plan. It's intended that any ship can pick up raw ore and a player can do basic mining with a hand tool. Within the mining gameplay mechanics, we currently have 2 ships. The Solo Prospector is your mining grinder that's now flight ready. This ship takes all aspects of this gameplay down 1 level and puts them in the hands of 1 person. Scanning, fracturing, extracting, and transporting are all at your disposal. This is also the only ship of the 2 that can mine the surface by landing on it. The ship's name perfectly describes its capability. The rear of the ship has expanding saddlebags for collecting the refined ore, and once full, in the future tiers of mining, the pilot can release the bags and continue to work with a fresh bag. These bags could be transported by the Prospector, but operating a small cargo craft like a cuddy will make more sense. This way you can team up and ensure less downtime. Next we have the Orion. This is the total package. This is that step up where individual jobs need to be performed by a team. Unlike the Prospector, this ship is able to bore and split deeper into the surface. Its signature counter-rotating containers are part of the storage system. The refinery operator will be able to choose several materials to sift for and store them ready for refinement. This big ship got bigger and it's unlikely to be seen in a hangar or landed on a planet. I just wanted to point out that the largest weapon announced in the game isn't even a weapon, but a drill. CIG, please allow Orion pilots to use the drill against other ships. Some orcs may even be planning to use it as some sort of doomsday machine. As usual in the job series, I prepared a scenario so you can see how it might play out. Your orc buys some information from a pioneer about an unknown section of newly discovered space. It's a large deposit of the 2nd most valuable resource in the universe, noble-shitanium. It's in a dense part of space and you plan to spend the weekend making it all your own. Your org team is an Orion, 2 Prospectors, a Hull C, a Hull A, 2 Vanguard Harbingers, and a Cutlass Red standing by. Scans show deposits on the surface so the Prospectors get to work. Minerals exhausted, the Prospectors move on to a new rock, and now it's up to the Orion. The rock is cut deep in search of big deposits. The beam operator extracts deliberately, bringing the highest density material to the refinery. The refinery operator also notices some good quality titanium and gold in the fragments. The titanium, gold, and the noble shitanium are collected, the rest is blown at the back as a trail of dust. I'm sure you see where this is going. We have some active security. The cargo is going to aid in keeping the Prospectors operating at full capacity. You can decide to call up a service beacon and sell it on-site or deliver it yourself. In closing, I actually enjoy mining in 3.2. I can see it being a major part of my future gameplay. It's interesting and skillful, but most important, it can pay the bills. I hope you enjoyed this no bullshit rundown of the mining game mechanics. Please pass it on to an orgmate or friend who may be interested. My goal is to grow this channel, and I can't do that without the help of citizens like you. Please help me spread the word about Star Citizen, fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.